You are not stuck because you are rebellious. You are stuck because of one small choice you keep postponing, and you already know which one it is. You pray for clarity, but your days feel quiet and unmoving. You ask God to speak, yet nothing changes. The silence starts to feel personal. You tell yourself you are waiting on God, but underneath that language, there is hesitation, a pause that feels reasonable, even wise. You are not running from faith. You are still reading, still listening, still agreeing in your heart. Yet obedience has been delayed just enough to feel invisible. That delay creates tension, because part of you believes growth should feel louder. Part of you believes transformation comes with certainty. But another part of you knows the truth is simpler. Growth often waits on action, not emotion. And action costs something specific. You sense it when the thought returns again, the conversation you keep avoiding, the habit you refuse to confront. You tell yourself you will act when you feel more peace, when fear leaves, when motivation arrives. But peace has not come, and fear has learned to sound logical. It whispers that delay is the same as discernment. You remember how sure you once felt, how obedience used to feel immediate. Now everything feels slower, heavier. You wonder if you missed something, if God moved on while you hesitated, if this dryness is punishment. Psalm 13:1. The question hangs without an answer, and the waiting stretches longer than you expected. Silence begins to shape your thinking. You start adjusting your expectations, lowering the bar just enough to stay comfortable, calling it patience. But patience does not avoid obedience. It walks toward it without applause, and that distinction matters. The small choice is still there, uncelebrated, unimpressive. It does not look spiritual. It looks ordinary, even inconvenient, which is why it keeps getting delayed. You tell yourself it is not urgent, that bigger things matter more. But growth rarely begins with big moments. Growth begins with alignment, with the quiet decision to stop resisting what you already understand. Not later, now. Luke 16:10. That verse unsettles you because it removes excuses. It shifts the responsibility back to you. You realize something uncomfortable. God has not been silent. He has been patient. Patient while you waited for permission you didn't need. Patient while you asked for reassurance instead of courage. Patient while you called delay wisdom. That realization brings relief because it means you are not abandoned. But it also raises the stakes because if the delay is yours, then so is the next step. And that step feels small but costly. It may require apology, consistency, ending a compromise no one else sees. It may require doing the right thing without feeling ready, without feeling strong, without feeling inspired. You hesitate again because acting means losing the excuse of waiting, and waiting has protected you from risk. James 1:22. The verse does not accuse you. It simply stands there, quiet, firm. You feel both exposed and invited. Exposed because you recognize yourself. Invited because the path forward is clear. Still, tension remains because obedience does not guarantee immediate relief. Sometimes it deepens the struggle before it resolves it. You fear that if you act, nothing will change, that the dryness will remain, that the cost will feel wasted. But growth is not measured by how you feel tomorrow. It is measured by whether you moved when truth was clear, even when the outcome was uncertain. The small choice is not about proving faith. It's about removing resistance, about making room. Room for God to work without competing with your hesitation. Room for clarity to follow obedience instead of preceding it. Room for growth to begin quietly. Isaiah 1:19. The verse reframes everything. Willing and obedient, not confident and certain. You begin to see the pattern. Delay did not protect you. It slowly shaped you into someone cautious instead of faithful. The small choice does not demand perfection. It demands honesty and movement. You do not need a sign. You need alignment. One step taken without negotiation. This is where growth has been waiting. Not in a breakthrough moment, but in the decision you stopped postponing. The silence was not rejection. It was space. Space for you to choose without pressure. Now the clarity is yours to respond to, not emotionally, practically. Make the small choice, not to feel better, but to be faithful, and let growth arrive the way it always does, quietly, after obedience, not before.